witches, wizards, wands, spells, magical creatures. All of it. Nothing in the face of raw muscle. In a world of discrimination against mudbloods, I did not make up this term, please place all blame on J.K. Rowling. One man will don the robes of elite magic users and take on their every trial with nothing but pure grit and a regular regimen of cream puffs and protein. Today we're following MASH in Mashle, Magic and Muscles by author Hajime Komodo. 99, 100. Ugh, sorry, didn't see you there. I was just reading pure unfiltered keto. I couldn't find Mashle, but I did find Jagan, which is a fantastic manga. That's right, today we're talking about Mashle, Magic and Muscles, a great gag manga. I love manly shit. I love stories that are rips of Harry Potter. Welcome to Manga Mondays, the bi-weekly show where I recommend you great or interesting manga. So, Mashle Might and Magic is the best Harry Potter parody I've ever read, and I love Harry Potter parodies. Hold on, Snape, I gotta eat my beans. Dumbledore asked me to get these beans out of here. And I've read a lot of Harry Potter parodies on our fanfiction podcast that we also do on this channel. I've been reading Mashle since early this year when we started the Chainsaw Man marathon in like February. And I'm happy to see it's only gotten better since then. Honestly, you'll be surprised if you stick with this one with how creative and skilled some of the art is, considering how like simple it is in the beginning, for lack of a better term. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just go over the first chapter and then talk about what I think. The story of Mashle begins with Mash, a boy who's been hidden away by his adoptive grandpa out in the woods, Dragon Ball style. Out there getting hella strong, away from the world. Slamming the bench, just killing the bar. But his grandpa has a better reason than a monkey's tail to keep Mash hidden away. In this world, Mash can't use magic, which means most people want him dead. The idea is that by killing all non-magic users, the magic people can keep the world relatively magical. One day Mash wanders away from home and gets caught. You see, he doesn't have a magic mark on his face, a unique scar that displays your magical powers. Multiple marks mean more powers. Sometimes they look kind of like a person's spell type too, so like a note for a music guy, for example. The whole thing is a riff on Harry Potter's scar, obviously. Anyways, Mash has no magic mark, and he gets trailed back to his house. The bounty hunter dude that follows him there though, gets his ass whooped, because Mash literally steals his magic and starts balling on him like a basketball. It's wild. The bounty hunter threatens Mash, saying he'll be hunted forever. You can stop me now, but we'll find you. He does give him an ultimatum though. He says, Mashle, if you think you're so great with your epic muscles and your ballin', you could avoid this endless hunt for your life. All you have to do is become a nationally recognized top student in magic school in the entire world, and we'll accept you if you think you're so great. Mash is very One Punch Man in his disinterest in everything. He just likes to lift weights and he just wants to protect his grandpa. Mash waggles his big finger and he says, I'm chock full of motivation, I got this. Which again is funny because he's very monotone. And accepts. So that's the plot. Mash goes to magic school. It's endlessly funny and creative. Basically, Mash is unstoppable, but he has to find a creative way to be unstoppable with his muscles and pass the trials. Now that I think about it, this is kind of like trying to explain a joke, but the long and short of it is I'd recommend it. So if you want to go ahead and go read that, you can do that. But I'm going to keep going. Normally I would talk about the characters next, but I've already talked about Mash, the dude who likes cream puffs and is dumb as a door, and is fighting to prove that his life is worth living with his muscles. The other characters are pretty one note. They're a lot of fun, but basically they just exist to have a gimmick and then discover Mash is actually not magical, and they're like, whoa, he's just really strong. They're funny. I mean, they're funny. They don't have to be that deep, whatever. Let's get into the what I like about the story. I like the plot structure. A stranger appears to challenge Mash, some epic Harry Potter Voldemort figure. They pull out some wild, unique powers that seem unbeatable, like JoJo style, out of their butt. And then Mash just does some insane, quick-thinking Ultimate Warrior bullshit and powers through. You're always excited to see what Mash is going to do to stop their magic, because it always goes a little bit farther than it needs to, as a gag. It always makes me laugh. And it does kind of sow some seeds here and there of plot. I'm not trying to say this has no plot. It does. It takes its time with the gags more so. And I think the balance is fine. I also like Mash's quirk of being really dumb outside of muscles. It's really endearing. It's not to a point of like a flanderized Goku, He can learn, he does have a personality, he's not like totally flat. It's mainly just that he always chooses some stupid solution because he doesn't think of a smart one. Whenever a character starts to like exposition dump about themselves or the world, Mash is like too dumb to care. He's like, I don't really get it. Just knocks their teeth in or just comes to the wrong conclusion. And it's funny. Ultimately, you do get some plot out of what is said, but it is ultimately a joke again. One of the plot points I like in the latter chapters is like some Death Eaters appear, which is late game Harry Potter lore again. But I just laughed out loud instantly imagining these like Scooby-Doo versions of Mashle's Death Eaters appearing. The more serious a character is in Harry Potter, the funnier it is when their parody shows up here. This is a great mirror to that story. I love it. Another super funny thing early on is that Mash's friends don't know that he doesn't have magic, maybe just don't believe him because of all the shit he pulls off. So them not understanding it is also a really good angle. Like, wow, Mash's magic lets him run at 100 miles an hour, then suplex someone so hard they die instantly? That seems kind of OP. Mash is really strong with his magic. And Mash is just like, nah, I'm just actually suplexing and killing this guy. Now let's get into the dislikes. You'd think they would just be that it's too jokey, but they're more specific than that. The first one that comes to mind is the endless cream puff jokes. I thought they were kind of funny at first, but they started to wear on me. Like, since Mash is our main character, obviously his few jokes get cycled a lot, and it's a gag manga, but just without spoilers, this is explored eventually, and the cream puffs jokes do go away, so it's fine. Another major complaint is there's a lot of battling. Like, yeah, it's a battle manga, but it's just fight after fight after fight. Like, every battle is the biggest, scariest battle ever. Yeah, okay, I get it. I wish they would just do a little bit more world building, a little bit more. There is a little bit, again, later on. The story just improves as it goes, but especially in the beginning. At one point, they had like a goblet of fire. Another point, they have a Quidditch game, but those moments don't last very long. I want the ideas that are interesting to go on a little bit longer. Basically, the story moves a little bit too quickly, and I want more of the interesting stuff from Harry Potter and less of just the infinite battles. But everything that's weak in the beginning does see improvement later on. Other than that, I don't know, I think Mashle's great. Is it a top 10 read? Probably not. But it's funny, it's surprisingly good. You should check it out if you're interested in following something that's ongoing right now. It's a good one. That's it. Peace.
And it says, after J.K. Rowling made the Harry Potter games, she went insane and she disappeared.